Welcome back, fight fans. We're back with another episode, and we finally got some more new fights to talk about. We're going to be going through UFC Vegas 44, Fonten, Aldo. Oh my God, what a main event. I can't wait. So we will start off with the main card, of course, as always. We open up with Brendan Allen and Chris Curtis. Excuse me. We've got the ranked contender, Brendan Allen. And on the other side, we've got Chris Curtis, who we just talked about just a few weeks ago. I actually even gave him the blue bonus for my most valuable fighter of November. Chris Curtis for beating Phil Hawes. He was a huge underdog in that fight. Not only that, but I picked him as the most valuable fighter because he didn't get his contract on the Contender Series. Then he lost 2 in the same night in the PFL, and he's bounced back. Oh, and then, of course, like I said, he was a huge underdog against Hawes, who is no slouch at all. And he knocked him out in the first round. Unbelievable. So, yeah, I mean, this one's one to see just because of that whole story. And he definitely has a chance to win this one too. But I will say, from a betting standpoint and from just looking at the resume and just in general, Brendan Allen definitely has a little bit more going for him. He's won his last 5 of his last 6 in the UFC. His only loss is to Sean Strickland. And on the other side, you've got Curtis. We just talked about him before that. He's only got the 1 fight in the UFC, although it was incredible. And like I said, Curtis definitely has a chance to win, especially with what he did to Hawes. He definitely has a chance, but the safe bet is definitely Allen on this. Allen is almost 10 years younger than him, and he just has, he's obviously got the much more impressive resume inside the UFC. But Curtis is a tough customer. I think we'll be seeing a decision here because from what I looked at, I don't remember seeing Curtis being knocked out or finished, really. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a tough one, I would say. I do think we're going to see a decision. Obviously, I'm leaning towards Allen just because of everything that's going for him. Yeah, so of course, we'll look at the odds on Bet99. Let's see where they're at here. Yeah, they've got Allen at minus 367, Curtis at plus 275. I hate to say it, but it does kind of make sense. But like I said, Curtis still for sure has a chance. I mean, look what he did to Hawes there. It doesn't take much. You can win. So, it's not that bad of a choice to throw a couple bucks on him, but definitely the safer bet is Allen. And you might even want to throw him in as a part of a parlay there at minus 367. And for the over-under, they've actually got it at 1.5 here. So minus 200 for over 1.5. Under 1.5 is plus 154. Honestly, you know what? I don't normally say this often, but the under 1.5 might not. I don't know, actually, because I did say probably a decision, but Curtis did get the first round finish. And if you're thinking that Allen could be that dominant, he could get the finish that quick too. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that one. I'll have to think about that one more, but I'm leaning towards probably the over, I guess, because I did say it's probably going to be a decision. But that means that the odds are probably very much in your favor for betting for a decision here. Obviously, we don't have those odds yet because we're doing this on a Wednesday, so they don't have those odds up yet. But you might want to look into that later at the going the full 3 rounds there. After that, they've got Jimmy Crute, Jamal Hill. I think this is going to be a good one. You've got both of them have a great record. Crute sits at 12-2. I was looking at my dog for a second. Crute is at 12-2. Hill's at 8-1. Both of them also just lost to top contenders. Crute losing to Anthony Smith, which made sense. I mean, I watched that one. It wasn't even really that close. And Hill lost to Paul Craig. And this one is kind of another one that could go either way. We're going to talk a lot about other ones that are going to go either way. Maybe not necessarily the one just before this. But yeah, I mean, there's a reason why they're both ranked 13th and 14th here. They're very, very close. To me, that there's 2 main kind of difference makers here. Crute, he just kind of seems to have fought the more skilled people here. And that's always important, especially when you've got the 2 closely ranked fighters. Low-key making silly noises in the background. And Crute also seems to be a bit more, well, much more dangerous, I would say, on the ground. So with that in mind, I'm leaning towards Crute because he just seems more well-rounded, just slightly more well-rounded and slightly more experienced. So if he can take Hill down, I think he can actually probably even get a finish. If not, he'll probably just get that decision win with the control along the fence. But that being said, that may sound like I'm leaning towards a decision, but I will say, depending on Hill's takedown defense here, Crute could actually get a decently easy finish. So I'm going actually Crute by finish here. We'll see, especially since we're talking about light heavyweights here, light heavyweights here. So we see a lot of finishes, and it's definitely not out of the question for Hill to get a KO or even Crute to get some kind of KO in there too, or even like just ground and pound, which is technically also a KO. Anyway, so for the odds on that, they have Crute at -172, Hill at +140. -172, honestly, not that bad just to take the straight up bet there. And the over under, probably because it's at light heavyweight, I'm guessing, they have it at over and under 1.5 rounds again. The over is -110 on this though. And the under is -117. I mean, they're saying that it's unlikely, it's actually more likely for it to be under 1.5 rounds. I think that's kind of silly to say. So I am definitely going to be putting money on that over 1.5. I think those are fantastic odds. I mean, that's just halfway into the second round. I think it's a lot closer than that. People aren't maybe they're just not giving Hill some credit here. I'm not sure. I think he deserves a bit more credit than that. I think we're definitely seeing over 1.5. I was going to say they actually might be changing it to 2.5 because I feel like it's close. But I mean, when those odds are actually in that direction, I don't think they're going to change it. Anyway, I'm taking the over on that one for sure. Next up, we've got a veteran, really kind of 2 veterans here almost. You've got Clay Guida, Leonardo Santos. And the last one, I mean, and it's going to be good if Clay Guida is involved. And he lost his last one, I should say, on a very, very just paper thin decision against Madsen on the last one. I remember watching that, and I remember thinking myself, I know I wasn't the only one. The announcers were thinking it. Most of Twitter was kind of agreeing. I kind of think Guida actually won that decision. It was kind of one of those weird ones. It was a split decision. It was just kind of weird. Um, yeah, I thought he edged it out, but hey, it's one of those things. And we don't have time to go through everybody that he's fought before that. I mean, he's literally fought everybody. He's 36 and 21. That's unbelievable. So I mean, he really basically has fought pretty much everyone. It's unreal. As for Santos, even though he's been in the UFC since 2013, so like I said, they're both kind of veterans. He hasn't really faced anyone of real interest in the UFC except for Kevin Lee, I would say. Nobody else really. So normally we'd be seeing really another difference here is we'd be seeing Guida as the older guy, of course, as always. But in this case, we're actually not. Guida is 39. Santos, I believe, is 41. I believe. I know he's on the other side of 40. So that combined with the absolutely insane experience that Guida has, and really actually that last performance against Madsen, he did really well. Like I said, I mean, Madsen is undefeated. So, I mean, and he did really, really well against him. Like I said, most people thought he won. So, and because we're seeing, so that's got me leaning towards Guida for sure on this one. And because we're seeing two veterans, I don't think we're seeing any finishes here. But, either one of these guys really is capable of getting some pretty dangerous submissions in there. So you could see a submission on either side. But I'm definitely going with Guida on this one. I'm going by decision. And the odds on this, I think, are actually kind of insane. I don't really know why it's lopsided. Well, it's not completely lopsided, but they've got Clay Guida at plus 150 and Santos at minus 186. I don't know what people are looking at here. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something crazy. But I mean, like I said, Guida looked amazing. That was just like 4 or 5 months ago. It wasn't even that long ago. Santos hasn't really fought as much. He's also older. Like I don't see what's going on here. Obviously, throw some money at Guida here. Plus 150, that's crazy. That's crazy talk. Definitely putting some money on him. And for the over-under, they've got over 2.5 at minus 180. That makes sense. I would probably still maybe even throw some money at that. Like I said, you're probably seeing a decision. And then the under 2.5 is plus, excuse me, wow, plus 140. So if you're thinking you're seeing a submission, you might want to do that. But I think you're probably seeing a decision here. After that, you've got the co-main. Oh my God. Really, these last two fights are just going to be absolutely crazy. I cannot wait for both of these. And if it weren't for the main event, I would say this one has the potential to be fight of the night. I think fight of the night, though, I think most of us are expecting that to be the main event. Anyway, you've got Rafael Fiziev, Brad Riddell, both of them exciting, dangerous. You've got Fiziev ranked 14th, Riddell ranked up there at 12th. Really, they're close everywhere. They're close in the rankings. They're close in age. They're close in reach. And they have the exact same record at 10-1. This is on paper. This is literally pretty much as close as you can get, really. So yeah, no matter what happens here, we're going to see a great fight. I'm sure that we're probably seeing a decision here. I mean, neither one of these guys really has any quit in them. They're both really skilled. I mean, yeah, we're probably seeing a decision here. I can't imagine. Well, I mean, I could imagine getting a finish, but I think we're seeing a decision here for sure. Now it's tough to choose who you think is going to win on this one, and that's why you'll see the odds are dead even. Go away, buddy. No, you're. He's getting caught on a cord. Get out of here, buddy. You're gonna make a mess. What a silly guy. Yeah, the odds are dead even on this, and so you could really go any way you feel on this, but I'm leaning towards Riddell on this because he trains with the City Kickboxing crew, with Izzy, Kai Kara France. That gym has been unreal this year. So that's really the only thing that's separating these two. So I'm kind of leaning that way. But I mean, go whichever way your heart desires on this. This is so dead even. But if you wanted that one difference maker, that was it for me. But so yeah, if you go to the odds, they've got Riddell minus 105, Fiziev minus 119. So they're kind of seeing Fiziev maybe. You know, like I said, there was so much on both sides. And the other thing you could lean to is because Fiziev is from Kyrgyzstan, which is where Shevchenko's from. I don't know. Like I said, there's really nothing separating these two whatsoever. It really is that dead even here. And for the over and under, you've got it at 2.5 rounds, of course, minus 220 for the over, plus 166 for the under. I think that's pretty fair. I think it is going to be over. So that kind of makes sense why it's that high. You know, I don't know. You might even want to throw together a mini parlay just inside that one fight, you know, maybe Riddell and the over. I don't know. Yeah, or just stay away from that minus 220. Those aren't great odds for an over under. So you might want to just stay away from it. Yeah, but I'm still thinking Riddell on this one. But again, could go either way. Could go either way. On this one, it's so even, I really don't know. After that, the main event. Rob Font, Jose Aldo. Absolutely insane matchup. I mean, you got the number 4 ranked contender, Rob Font, and then you've got the King of Rio, the legendary Jose Aldo. Font won a decision earlier this year against Cody Garbrandt. That was pretty good. Before that, he made his way up the rankings with wins over Marlon Moraes, Ricky, I don't know if it's Simon or Simone. I'm going to say Simone because I'm pretty sure that's what it is, and Sergio Pettis. As for Aldo, what can you say about Aldo? I mean, he's just so good. And he looked, I don't know if he's looking better than he used to. I honestly can't tell. He's just so good. This year especially, it's unbelievable, really. He had a great win over Munoz and over Vera just over the past year. Before that, of course, he lost the vacant belt to Piotr Jan last year. He looked okay in that, but I mean, Jan is just so unreal. He's just so good that, you know, it kind of made sense that Aldo kind of lost that one, but he did look good. But remember, that's a title fight. Like Rob Font is definitely no Piotr Jan here. No, not a chance. So for me, I mean, both of them definitely have a chance of winning this for sure. And you really could go either way on this. And they are both very, very good strikers, which is why you really could go either way on this. But from what I've seen, because I have seen a lot of, especially Aldo the past couple years, I just think that Aldo is a lot faster and he uses a lot of his kicks more. And when you're fighting more of an actual boxer, not necessarily like Aldo is more like a kickboxer, almost, because he uses so many kicks. But although, I mean, Font doesn't really do that as much. So I think Aldo's going to use that to his advantage, and I think that's going to kind of give him the edge. Obviously, we're going to be seeing an explosive stand-up brawl. I think because of that, we're probably seeing a decision here. I don't think we're going to see either one of those guys get finished here. They're just too good and too tough. I think we might even see actually more of kind of an elusive thing. We might not see a huge brawl. We might see a lot of chess matches. I don't know. But Jose Aldo likes to make it dirty and make it a real bloody mess. So who knows? I think this is going to be crazy either way. But yeah, I'm leaning towards Aldo with the decision on this one, especially since Aldo, like I said, he's got that extra speed and the kicks in there. So I think with that extra activity, he's going to edge ahead in the decision there. That's what I'm thinking here. which is good. Good for you guys if you're taking the bet on that, because the odds actually have Rob Font at minus 150 right now. I'm not sure what he did to deserve that. I really don't know. Because, I mean, yeah, he beat Cody Garbrandt, but Garbrandt hasn't really done all that well recently, and Aldo is just kind of tearing people apart. So I don't really see how the odds are this. I would have definitely been swinging the other way with Aldo, but I don't know what people are thinking today. Some of these are kind of weird. Anyway, but yeah, and then they have Aldo at plus 122. So obviously, I'm going to be picking Aldo. Those are fantastic odds on Aldo. I mean, geez, plus 122 for Aldo. You don't see that very often. So I'm definitely going to be throwing some money at that. That's going to be great. And for the over under, they've got over 4.5 for at minus 160. The under 4.5 is plus 125. That kind of makes sense. Yeah, they're heavily leaning towards that decision there at minus 160. I think that's pretty fair. You could kind of throw a little bit of change at the under if you think there's going to be I think there's going to be a finish. But at minus 160, honestly, that's not bad for an over under. You might as well just throw some money on the decision there, because I think that's pretty much, I wouldn't say guaranteed what we're going to see, but you're probably going to see that. That's it for the main card. Now we'll go through a couple of the ones that I like for the prelims. The first one I want to talk about is Alex Morono and Mickey Gall. This one's very early on the prelims. I'm not really sure why, because we just saw Morono, what was that, like a month or two ago? It wasn't even that long ago. And I mean, it was pretty good. It was a pretty exciting one. It was a decision win over Zawada. And just before that, he got a first round KO over the Cowboy, Donald Cerrone, also earlier this year. So, I mean, I don't know why this is the second fight on the prelims. That's insane to me. Should be way higher up, especially since Mickey Gall, also pretty exciting. He had a first round submission win over Jordan Williams earlier this year and lost a decision to Mike Perry in 2020 just before that. Both of them are pretty similar on the resume. They've been on the UFC for a while now, but Morono just seems to be improving at a much, much faster rate. And he's been more active recently. Since they're pretty evenly matched, because I would say they're actually pretty evenly matched, and Gall doesn't normally get finished, I'm saying we're probably seeing a decision here, and I'm definitely leaning towards Morono on this one, especially since, like, what we've seen. Like I said, you got the decision win over Zawada, and then the first round TKO over Cowboy before that. I'm definitely leaning towards the Morono side. And like I said, Mickey Gall is a tough guy to finish, so I think we're probably seeing a decision here. And for the odds are definitely leaning towards Morono on this one, which is interesting because when I was looking at Tapology, a lot of people actually had Mickey Gall, and a lot of people on Twitter have Mickey Gall too. So that's very interesting that the odds disagree with that. They've got Morono minus 234, Gall plus 183. I'm thinking you're probably going to be throwing this in a parlay somewhere at minus 234. Kind of makes sense. Like I said, you might even want to throw that at throw it together, like I said, with Brendan Allen. I'm not seeing too many other. Yeah, there's not too many parlay opportunities here, honestly. All these odds are very even this week. I'm not seeing too much over the minus 200 range, which is very interesting because we saw a lot of that the past couple weeks. So yeah, not too many parlays today or this week. Very interesting indeed. I'm just scrolling through the odds here. But yeah, so definitely Morono is part of a parlay there. Maybe it might even just be a 2-fight parlay, or put something together that you really like. Maybe even Aldo, Morono. Yeah, they've got Murzakanov. I think it's they only have the first few letters. Mirzakhanov against Vandera. Mirzakhanov is at minus 217. Could even throw him in a parlay. But Vandera actually doesn't look too bad here, so I'm not really sure. Yeah, there's not too many parlays today. Anyway, moving on. They've got the over-under on this at minus 184 for over 2.5, plus 142 for the under 2.5. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. Like I said, we're probably seeing a decision here, so that kind of makes sense. Maybe even throw that in a parlay. Minus 184 for over 2.5. Maybe. After that, it's actually a few fights after that. But after that, actually, no, it is. It's actually the next fight after that. They've got Zhalgas Zhumagulov, Manel Kape. This one I like, actually, because both of them are very interesting here. Both of them are on the very edge of breaking into the flyweight rankings, and they're also both coming off of first-round wins in their last fights in there. Their record in the UFC is also identical, with 2 decision losses followed by that first-round finish. Very close on paper here. And Kape comes in slightly younger and with a slight reach advantage of 2 inches. I mean, 2 inches reach doesn't really make too much of a difference. And it's just a slight age difference. So, I mean, on paper, this is really completely dead even, which is very interesting when we're going to be talking about these odds. I don't really know why it's like this. Oh, it's not the next one. Where is this? It's not the next one. It's later. It's actually the second last one before the main card. I was looking at a different name. Anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah. From what I've seen, though, because I have seen both of these guys, Zhalgas just seems more well-rounded, I would say, and he's more well-versed on the ground than while Kape just stays kind of on his feet. So I do think that this is a very exciting fight and a close fight, which is why I put this on here. But because of this skill set, I actually think that Zhumagulov will take the win by a decision, maybe even a late submission here. So yeah, I'm actually going Zhumagulov on this, which is very interesting because I don't know, maybe it's the name Manel Kape, maybe. But these odds are kind of weird for me. I don't know why they're this one-sided. Manel Kape at minus 260, Zhumagulov plus 210 right now. That's absolutely ridiculous to me. Considering, like, I mean, I saw on Twitter a lot of people were saying, oh, Zhumagulov is the next guy to come up at flyweight. Nobody's saying that about Manel Kape, really. Not too many people. And from what I saw, honestly, like I said, I think Zhumagulov is just more well-rounded. So this is a great chance to get an underdog here at plus 210. Zhumagulov plus 210, which is why, yes, Manel Kape is a minus 260. I would not be throwing him in a parlay, even if I thought Manel Kape was going to win. I would not put him in a parlay. Not a chance. Not a chance today. But yeah, so, and then the over-under on this, minus 200 for the over. Plus 154 for the under. That kind of makes sense. That makes a lot of sense because you've also got flyweights. Not only are they both pretty skilled, but you're also talking about flyweights here. There aren't as many finishes there. So it kind of makes sense that they're leaning towards a decision. Yeah. But yeah, I just think that Zhumagulov is going to control along the fence, probably even on the ground. So I just don't see why he's at a plus 10, maybe plus 210. Like I said, maybe it's just because people don't know who he is. And people are looking at Manel Kape and being like, oh, I kind of remember that name. I don't know. That's a weird one to me. That's a weird one on the odds. But like I said, take advantage of it. I'm going to be definitely throwing some money at Zhumagulov. I can tell you that. After that, the last one that I want to talk about is Maki Pitolo, Dushko Todorovic. That is the featured prelim of the night. You're seeing 2 very exciting middleweights here, which is interesting, I guess, if you kind of know their record. They've both been on a losing streak recently, so that kind of probably means that whoever loses this fight is probably going to be gone, which is too bad because, like I said, both of these guys have looked great. I really liked, because I've been watching. I even followed Patolo actually on Instagram because I found him so exciting. I really liked him a lot. Dushko also looked really promising. I think he was one on the Contender Series. He looked great. I don't know. Yeah, just the losing streak. It really just sucks. I think they've just been kind of getting bad matchups, honestly, because like they've been looking so good in their fights. But that's the fight business. What can I say? What was I going to say here? I wrote it down. Yeah, there's not much separating these two. Like I said, their records are very similar. They have an almost identical reach, and they're similar. They're almost the same in age, I should say. But from the fights that I've seen, I will say I think Dushko is slightly more well-rounded, but this one is pretty much a coin toss to me. This really could go either way. I'm going to go Todorovic. Wow, what the fuck's going on with me? I'm going to go with Todorovic based on what I've seen. That being said, Patolo has that Hawaiian toughness. I don't think he's getting finished. I just think that Todorovic is probably going to control him along the fence or on the ground and get the decision win that way, because I don't see Patolo having that much in that kind of aspect. He's great at stand-up, but I don't think he's going to be able to compete as much with Dushko in the grappling department. I just don't see it. So I'm saying probably you're going to see Todorovic, and I'm saying you're probably going to see a decision here. I mean, yeah. The thing's reloading, so it kind of messed up my order here. Where are the odds here? They've got Patolo at plus 133, Todorovic minus 167. So I think they're kind of seeing that too, that he's just more well-rounded, I think. And maybe it's the way that Patolo lost. I'm not really sure. I don't know. But yeah, they've got Todorovic just slightly ahead, and I think that's pretty fair. But yeah, you know what? Like I said, it's really a coin toss. This could go either way. And for the over-under, oh, whoops. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah. Oh, it just glitched again. For the over-under, fascinating to me. Minus 200 for over 1.5. Over 1.5 rounds we've got here. So that honestly might even be part of a good parlay there, because over 1.5? Are you kidding me? I don't think either one of these guys is going to get a finish, let alone in the first round and a half. I don't know. We could be shocked by something here, but I don't think so. Not in the first round and a half. And the under is plus 154. I actually think this one, and even maybe the Brendan Allen one, they might actually switch this to 2.5 soon before the fight start. Because at 1.5 rounds for that one, that seems bizarre. So yeah, I would even, like I said, if you're betting now, string in that over 1.5 for Patolo and Todorovic, because that's ridiculous that's what at 1.5 right now. Anyway, that is it. Again, it's a short one again, of course, because we didn't have a fight last week, so we couldn't talk about anything too bad. But we'll be back to our regular, very long. Well, it probably is actually going to be a very long stream next time, because we're going to be talking about these crazy fights, and we're going to be talking about the insane pay-per-view that's going to be coming up. Oliveira and Poirier. Who else is on? I mean, there's a lot of people on that card. Oh my God, the Sugar Show. The Sugar Show is back. I can't wait. I fucking love Sean O'Malley. Anyway, that's enough of that. We'll be back. We've got the article, of course, coming out tomorrow. And then, of course, we've got the post-fight article on Sunday. But also a nice little bonus. BFL, Battlefield Fight League, which is being hosted in Vancouver, which is right here where I am. It's being, that's on Friday. It's on Fight Pass. I'm going to be watching it. I'll be giving bonuses out for these fights too. It's going to be great. I'm excited. I've never seen anything that's not the UFC, actually. I mean, have I really watched Bellator? Actually, yeah. I watched like one event of Bellator. But other than that, it's just been UFC. So it's kind of cool really seeing the people that are just kind of getting their career started. I'm going to be watching it. I think you should watch it too. And like I said, I'm going to be talking about it in that article too. I'm going to be tweeting about it. It's going to be great. That is Friday on Fight Pass. I believe it starts at 5 Pacific, I believe. I'm not quite sure about that. Don't quote me, but you can look it up. And I'm very excited to watch it. Who knows? Maybe I think we'll keep doing more of the Battlefield Fight League since it's a local thing. And maybe we'll be getting some people in from there. That would be really cool. I'd love to cover that way more every time they do an event. Anyway, if you want to hear about any of the other sports, whether it's football, soccer, anything, basketball, I don't know, literally anything, the Area 51 network has it. All the links are below. You can check out that Area 51 network to do that. Also, of course, we have the deal with Bet99 to get that $600 matchup bonus if you sign up with the link, which will be after I finish talking. You'll see what I mean. I will see you next week. See ya.